Hello redesigners, it's Cece from Cece ReStyled, and today I have a super duper fun project that we're going to be working on, and it's 0 calorie, looks delicious, and it's functional. So today we're making a storage box that looks like a cake out of just some craft supplies, easy to find things, and you're not even going to know it's not real looking at it. It's going to be amazing. So this is probably going to be a two-parter because we have to make some molds. We have to just put together all our parts of the cake. So this is part one. We'll get as far as we can today. So I'm going to be using to start off with. For our cake, we got to make a cake stand, okay? So I got this little candle pillar from the craft store and this wood circle-y thing. And to be honest, hey Roz, hey everybody that's tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be so awesome when it's done. I couldn't even sleep this morning thinking about it. But anyways, so we got to put together our cake stand. And mine broke, my candle pillar broke, I dropped it. So we're just gonna glue that back together. I've got my Gorilla Hot Glue right here already. So we're gonna work on our cake stand first, okay? Then we're probably going to make our molds. And then we will frost our cake. We're gonna frost our cake. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and point you down so you can see what I'm doing. And how's that? Is that good? So like I said, I just got this little wooden circle plaque thingy from the craft store. Same with this little candle holder pedestal. You can also buy a pre-made cake stand, though that's definitely a possibility. I have some of those as well, but I figure we're going to create. So let me glue this back together to start with because I broke it. Oh shoot, my glue gun's not plugged in. Dag nabbit. Okay, it is plugged in, but it's not heating up. Okay, let me try a different outlet. Is this not plugged in? The strip? Maybe. All right, so while I figure out my technical difficulty with my glue gun, we'll go ahead and get our paint. I'm going to be using Impasto Paint from Art Alchemy by Prima. And that's what we're going to use to paint the base of our cake stand. I think I'm going to do like a pretty blue because I'm going to make the cake pink and white. So let's just do this pretty mint color. How about that? Mint. So we'll go ahead and start painting. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and paint the top. Well, let's see if the glue gun is going to work for us first. Okay, it's heating up. Yay! Okay. So real quick, while we wait for the glue gun to heat up so we can put this back together, I'm going to show you a couple other things that we're going to be using. So from the craft store, I also got these round boxes. Okay, you can make a square cake, you can make a single layer cake, you can make a double layer cake like we're going to be doing. We're going to be making a double layer cake today. Okay, so it's going to stack like that and, be on the pedestal. We're making our molds out of this Frank Garcia dessert mold. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact name of it. But it's a Frank Garcia by Prima marketing mold, and you can probably Etsy search that. I'm not positive if, what all retailers carry that, but we're also going to be using 3D stencil fiber paste, and with that we're going to be using a what is this called? A spatula, a spatula, and this is going to be our icing. Okay, so our 3D stencil fiber paste is going to be icing. We're going to use white, and then we're also going to use a decorating bag, which I also got at the craft store. It's just icing, with the tips in the bag, and we're going to be mixing a little bit of our icing up with some, paint to make some colorful icing, and then we're going to put our molds on top like little candies on our cake. So that is kind of the plan. Oh, and I got to show you these little sprinkle jobbies that I got too. They're not real sprinkles, okay? They're glitter sprinkles. They're polyester. So they're not real. You don't want to use real sprinkles on your fake cake because they'll perish. So make sure you find the fake sprinkles, okay? You can get them on Amazon or at the craft store, all that. So I'm sorry if anybody has any questions or comments. I'll try to catch them, but I think if Roz is on, she'll catch them. So that's pretty much what we're using to make our faux cake. And you'll be able to open it, both the top and the bottom, so you'll have this little storage area for jewelry or trinkets or whatever in your cake. And this makes a really cool gift. You know, like Mother's Day has passed already, but you know, birthdays or just, you know, a gift like thinking of you, you know. Probably not so much Father's Day. I don't know. Maybe your father likes cakes. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my candle holder back together. And I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue because I love Gorilla Hot Glue and it works very well. Okay, so there's our candle holder. Candle pillar, sorry. And we're going to go ahead and peel off the sticker. This is so fun. I feel like I'm cooking and I don't cook. So I don't know what that feels like. But I guess it must feel a little bit like this, huh? Thank you for tuning in. I don't know what's going on with my lighting there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue our circular plaque, okay, to our candle pillar using our Gorilla Glue. Try to center that as best we can here. Okay, let that set for just a second while it dries. And then, let's see, I'm going to be using the Mint Impasto paints from Art Alchemy by Prima. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, I don't know if this is open yet. Nope, got to peel off the little foil thingy. There we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paint my base. Okay, I'm just going to paint it this mint color, and that should just take a minute. I like the Impasto paints. They're a heavy body acrylic paint. They dry pretty quickly, and you don't need lots of coats because it's a heavy body and it dries, or it covers very well, super well. They're really thick, which I like. I like thick paint. But you can do 2 coats if you want, or if for some reason you're not getting good coverage, but we'll probably stick with 1. See how thick that is? It's like toothpaste. It looks like toothpaste too. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish painting our cake stand. You could do a metallic gold or silver or white or, whatever color you want. I'm thinking that the mint color will offset our pink and white cake pretty well. This paint is so thick. It's yummy. It's really literally like frosting. Okay, so we're getting our base of our cake really well. Hopefully we can get pretty far today. I don't think we'll finish the cake, but we'll finish it next Thursday at noon if we don't get it quite finished today. So, painting our cake stand, painting our cake stand. Oh my gosh, this is going to be maybe a new obsession for me. Just maybe. All right, I think one more little squirt of paint and we can finish our base of our cake stand. So cute. It's going to be so cute. Oh, how's everybody doing today? It's almost Friday. I hope y'all are doing good. Really good. Despite all of the awful things happening in the world, I hope everyone is doing somewhat well. As good as you can anyways. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's finish painting the base here. Yeah, this paint is super thick. I love it though. I love thick paint. Okay, so we got our base painted. I'm not going to paint the bottom for now, just for time purposes, so I can get moving on this. I'll probably go back and paint it later, or not. Okay, so we're going to paint our top, and if you're just hopping on or you missed the beginning, this is just a little circular wooden plaque and a wooden candle pillar that I got from the craft store, and I glued them together to make a cake plate, okay, for our faux dessert, our yummy treat that you should not eat. That's why it's 0 calorie, you guys. It's good for you. It's like a healthy cake. All right, a little bit more. This is very thick. It's thicker than most of the other colors that I've used, but we're getting there, and we'll only need one coat, so that's awesome. Right. Okay, so I'm going to let, whoa, almost got it, and then I'm going to let it dry. Nope, got to get this edge here. And you can, they make different sizes of these circular rounds and the candle holders. So you can even make little cupcake stands if you want. And I mean, you can really use them. You don't have to do it for this fake cake. You can actually really use them, obviously. But anyways, okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. All right, now I got to get my little fingerprint areas down at the bottom. Okay, touch up some spots down here, and then I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Okay, so show you. Make sure I miss. Okay, I think I got all the spots. So this is our cake plate. Okay, doesn't it look like a real like vintage kind of cake plate? Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry. Okay. Sharon, this is Impasto Paints from Prima Marketing. Art Alchemy is a line of a line from Prima Marketing, and it's a heavy body acrylic paint, so it's really good for art and fine art and creating texture and things like that. Comes in lots of colors, but Impasto Paint. I know that's backwards for you, but it's called Impasto Paint. So, all right, so we're gonna let our cake stand dry. While we let our cake stand dry, let's go ahead and pour our first round of molds, okay? So in case you missed it, I'm using this, I cannot remember the name, I'm so sorry. It's a mold from Frank Garcia by Prima, and we're gonna be using I think I'm just gonna use a cupcake, the donut, the little pastry thing here, and the ice cream. I don't think I'm gonna use the bow and the carousel horse, even though they're super cute. So I'm gonna have to probably pour this mold several times to get enough molds to go on top of our cake. So that's probably why this is gonna be a two-part live. But we're gonna go ahead and pour our first round so they can start to set up. And then I can show you what those look like after they're all set up. And then next time we'll probably get them painted. Okay, so I'm using Amazing Casting Resin. Okay, from Amazing, I think that's the name of the company, Amazing Casting, but they have a quick set epoxy resin. Okay, so you have a working time of around 2.5 minutes once you mix it, and it sets up in about 10 minutes, maybe even less because this mold is so small. So we're just going to mix up a little bit at a time because we only need a little bit for our dessert mold. So I'm going to do, usually I like to pour by weight. But I didn't bring my scale, but I have these handy dandy measure cups here, so I'm going to go ahead and do 1 ounce total. So I'm going to do a 1/2 ounce of part A, and a 1/2 ounce of part B. And I'm going to mix that together really, really, really well. I like to use a transfer stick or popsicle stick to mix because then I can just throw it away. Let's see. So let's mix that up really well. And then, let's see. Yeah, you want to make sure you mix it really well. And then I like to pour kind of low and slow so it doesn't overfill the mold. Can you see that? I don't know how. Yeah. Try not to overflow the mold, but if you do, it's okay. So there's our little cupcake. These are so cute, you guys. And our donut. Oh, I overfilled the donut. If I overfill it, I just take the flat part of my transfer stick and I scrape it over the top to level it out. Easy peasy. All right, so now I'm going to pour my little bagel or pastry or whatever that thing is. We're just going to call it another donut because we like donuts. Then our ice cream. I'm going to go ahead and pour a carousel horse just for fun because I have enough resin left. And he's so cute. Maybe we can use him on decorations for the cake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and level off my mold just like that. Super easy, okay? All right, so we're going to let these set up. Okay, it won't take super long. We're going to let our molds set up, and that's our first round. We'll probably end up doing several rounds to get enough molds for our project here. Actually, I think I want to refill this donut just a little bit. There we go. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. Now we're going to, let's go ahead and ice our cake, okay? We're going to go ahead and start working on our cake. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to do a double layer circular cake by gluing these two together. You can do a square cake or a cupcake or whatever you want, but I'm going big, okay? I'm going to do a double layer. And these are just paper mache boxes. You can use wooden boxes if you want. I could not find the wooden ones in the circle, so I just got the paper mache ones. No big deal. Trying to take the tag off so it will stick. All right, that's good. And we're gonna just take our Gorilla Glue and go all around this jobby so it sticks really well. And I'm just gonna center that as best I can right on top of the bigger box. Okay, and press that on, and then I'm gonna make sure it's on there really well. So I'm just gonna press it on there, hold it for just a second, let it set up. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and, let's check our base, see if it's dry yet. It's drying pretty quick, but not quite dry all the way yet. So let's go ahead and ice our cake. I'm going to use I'm just going to use one of these 3D Stencil fiber paste containers. You can use a cup or whatever. I just need something to prop this up on like that so I can get my icing all around the sides and the bottom. So I just need something to set these on is all I'm doing. So we're going to set this on this. So that makes sense. I'm just propping them up. Need one more thing to prop you up on. Yeah, we'll prop that one there. Okay, so can you see? Okay, so I've got you can use a butter knife, a spatula, a spoon, a palette knife. I'm using a actual cake icing spatula, and we're using 3D Stencil fiber paste. I know that's backwards for you, but 3D Stencil fiber paste is usually what I use to make, guess what, 3D stencils. But it has the perfect consistency of icing, and I want my cake to be white, so I'm not gonna paint it first, since the icing 3D Stencil fiber paste is white already. I can't get this open. What is going on here? Gosh. Okay. So see that pasty consistency? It looks like frosting, doesn't it? But don't eat it, okay? You don't want to eat it. Okay? So if you're just logging on or hopping on and you missed the beginning, we made our cake stand out of a wooden circle and a candle pillar, okay? And we painted it. Now we are going to ice our cakes that are these paper mache circles. You could use squares, you could use wood circles, wood squares, whatever is cake shaped, okay? That you want to use for your fake cake. All right, let's see. It's out of the way. Okay, let me see if there's any questions I missed real quick. Okay, I don't think so. Okay. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to kind of dig in here, And it's pretty thick, so if you find it too thick and you can't get it to spread very easily, you can always add paint to it to change the color, or white paint. Here in a minute, we're going to use a piping bag to decorate the cake, and it's a little thick to go through the piping bag, so I'm actually going to add some paint to thin it out a little bit so that it'll pipe through the bag. So I'm just going to ice this literally like I would ice a cake. So not, you know, thin, fairly thin, but not too thin. I just want to get some coverage so you can't see the paper mache, and so that it looks like icing. I'm using, like I said, Redesign with Prima 3D Stencil Fiber Paste. Gosh, I can't say that too many times fast. It drives me crazy. But you can also use caulking, plaster, drywall mud. If for some reason you have any of those laying around, you can also use those things. Okay, so I got the top iced. I mean, does that not look like a real icing? That looks like real icing. You guys, you're not going to know this is not a real cake. It's insane. All right, so let's go around the sides here. And yep, just like a real cake. Just like a real cake. Not as yummy. This is going to make me hungry for cake, you guys. What? Okay, almost done with this lid to the little guy here. You guys, I've been obsessed with fake food lately and fake desserts. I want everything to look like fake desserts. That's what kind of triggered this subject for this live. My obsession with fake desserts is real, you guys. And real desserts. I also have an obsession with real desserts. That is no joke. Okay, let's see. Now, this 3D stencil fiber paste, I'm going to let it dry overnight. After we get our cake iced, we'll let it dry overnight before we put any of our little candy resin molds on top. You don't have to, I suppose, but I'm going to. Okay, so we've got our top all iced. Here, I'll go ahead and set it on there to dry. Make sure you got all the spots covered so you can't see any of the cardboard, because that'll give away the fact that your cake is not real, you guys. We don't want that. Tell me that does not look like the real top of a cake. I mean, it does, right? I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so now we got to ice this part of our cake. Same thing. I'm using a spatula. You can use a palette knife, a spoon, spatula, whatever you got to spread icing or fake icing. And up towards the top where the lid is going to go on it, you want to go fairly thin so our lid will still fit on there. You know what I'm saying? You want your lid to still fit on the top. If for some reason you get your icing on too thick and your lid will not fit on the top, you can take a sanding block or sandpaper and sand around the top. So this 3D stencil fiber paste is sandable. Just sand it down till it'll fit. Okay, here we go. This is as close as I get to real cooking, you guys. Like, I don't cook, okay? I do not cook. I don't bake. I don't do anything in the kitchen, really. No. But this is close, right? Do I get credit for this? Okay. All right. Now, obviously you can decorate your cake however you wish. After I get this icing, faux icing spread all on my cake, around the sides of the cake, I've got this decorative texture thingy. I'll show you in a second. I got this at the craft store too in the cake section. So it's got these little, scalloped edges so you can create a texture around the sides of your cake. So as soon as I get my icing on the sides, we're going to go ahead and do that. Just to, help it look like a real cake, My mother was a baker, a cake baker and decorator growing up. Since the year I was born, she was making cakes. And so very much of my childhood, actually my entire childhood and my entire adulthood, is full of memories of my mom making cakes in the kitchen. Every kind of cake you can imagine. And she would decorate them so beautifully. Like, she's really good at that. And I don't think that I quite got that skill because this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be, icing this, but it's also not rocket science. But she used to make it look so easy. Whoop. Okay. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not a professional cake baker because no one would buy my cakes. This is, yeah. I'm doing my best, okay? I'm doing my best. Okay, let's go around this top one more time, thin it out, get it smooth. Ah! If you have a lazy Susan, that might be helpful, but I don't. All right. Here we go. Okay. And if you're just tuning in by chance, we are icing our faux cake with 3D stencil fiber paste from Redesign with Prima. And it looks like real icing, you guys. It's so cute. It's going to be super cute when we're done. Okay, we're almost done icing this part of the cake, and then we will do our little texture around the edge, ice the very last part of our cake, and then I will show you the molds because they should be set up by then, which the molds I'm going to show you, and then next week we'll paint them and add them to our cake after our icing is all dry. Ah. I know I'm struggling, you guys. Like, you don't have to, don't judge me. I'm not a cook, I'm not a baker. This is not natural for me, okay? Don't judge. Don't judge me. If I want a cake, I have my mom make it. Okay, a little bit more. A little bit more. Right here. There. All right, cool. I think we're good. I'm going to go around the whole thing one more time to smooth it out and make sure I've got all my cardboard or paper mache areas covered so it doesn't show through. And so far so good. All right, I think we're good on this layer. So check it out. Doesn't that look like a real iced cake? Oh, I see a little thin spot that I want to fix. Right there. Oh. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little, icing comb. That's what they're called, icing comb. I'm going to use this little scalloped edge, I think. Well, which scalloped edge do I want to use? I'm going to use this little scalloped edge here, and I'm just going to go around the side of my cake icing and kind of drag it through to create like a little bit of a texture. You know how they do on fancy cakes, they give them the icing a little texture. And we got us here a fancy cake. All right, cool. So we're gonna let that dry. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let that dry, our little cake, and we've got one last section that we need to ice. Hopefully this one will go a little bit easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all around the side, scrape our little icing comb through it, and then I'll do the top. I think that'll be the easiest. Okay, let's grab our icing. This is making me so hungry for junk food. Okay, we'll get off what we can of our... Okay, so here is our bottom layer of the cake. We're going to go ahead and go around. Let's go ahead and go around the sides first. And like I said, with the fiber paste, if it's too thick, you can thin it out with some paint, whatever color you want, or white if you just want it to be white icing. I think right now the consistency is absolutely perfect for this coat of icing on our cake. But when we go to pipe it through the bag to decorate, we're going to want to add some paint to thin it out. Does anybody have any questions so far? I didn't see any a minute ago, but shoot them in the comments if you have any questions. I'm sorry if this is making you hungry, or if you're on a diet and it's tempting you. My apologies. But I love fake desserts. I don't know what my deal is with that. I have kind of an obsession with them. It's kind of weird. All right, we're almost done with our sides. It's a little bit more icing here. All right. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to let this dry overnight at least, just to make sure it's dry all the way through. But since we're going to be doing the second half next Thursday, I guess technically I'll be letting it dry for a week, but you only have to really let it dry for overnight to make sure it's all the way dry. Okay, we're almost done with our sides, and we're going to drag our icing comb through it. I just got that at the craft store in the cake section, where I got my little spatula here. The cake section in the craft store was my friend today. Found lots of things there that we are using. Okay. All right. Gets a little tricky as you are almost done. There's not really anywhere to hold it. Okay, sweet, literally. sweets. Okay, so we got the sides all done. Now I'm going to take my my fancy icing comb. Ah! And I'm going to go around that one time just to give it a little extra of the cake. Actually, I guess I'll have to go around it 2 times since it's not quite big enough. Okay, so I'm going to go around it the top. My mother would be so proud. I'm making a cake, Mom. Easy no-bake cake. Okay, I'm going to go around it one more time. Sorry, I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Just going around it with this icing comb to give it some icing-looking texture. And let's see, I'm going to have to move our grip here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep you on camera here. It's hard to concentrate and make sure I'm on the camera at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Why is that? Oh my gosh. There we go. All right, cool. So there is the edge of our cake. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the top real quick. That should go pretty easy, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I'm going to set it on this to prop it up and just go over the top. On the top, I just want to get it kind of as smooth and flat as, you know, a real icing on the top of a cake would be, because that's where we're going to put our decorative icing and then our molds that look like candy, our candy molds. All right, there we go. All right, we're almost done with our icing. And the last little bit here. This looks delicious, you guys, but I bet you it tastes pretty gnarly. 3D stencil fiber paste. All right, I think we're good. Let me make sure I didn't miss any spots all the way around. And we look good. Like I said, if for some reason your lid of your box does not fit on after you put the icing on and it's dry, just take a piece of sandpaper or sanding block and just sand all around it till it'll fit. No big deal. All right, so that is our base layer on our cake. Okay, that's the base layer. We're gonna go ahead and check on our. Actually, you know what? I just realized I didn't even need to ice this part because it's actually the bottom of the cake, but whatever. See, our cake stand is gonna go like that, but whatever. No big deal. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and show you our molds. And it looks like our base is dry. The paint is dry. So here in just a second, actually, let's just go ahead and take our base layer and plop it onto our cake stand. And I was going to glue it on, but instead of glue, since I have the 3D stencil fiber paste on there, it will just stick just like it would if it was real icing. Okay, so there's the bottom of our cake. Woo woo! Dudes, I'm so excited about this. It's going to be so delicious and so fat-free. Oh my gosh. I'm watching my calories right now. Okay. What did I do with my fiber paste? Oh well, I'll just set it down. Okay, so our molds, back to our molds. Okay, our amazing quick set resin. So, no, I have like 3 of them. I have an open one somewhere. Oh, here. Okay, so like I said, I don't remember the name of this mold, and I'm so sorry. But it's a Frank Garcia from Prima Marketing mold, and we're going to go ahead and peel out our, and the amazing casting resin will stay pliable for a little while, you know, until it completely cures, and that's okay. Just be careful when you pull them out. So there's my little ice cream cone. You see the ice cream cone? And I'll just take a knife and clean up that edge that is kind of extra, or I can just pull it off real quick with my fingernail without stretching out my mold. Okay, so look at the detail on my little ice cream cone. And next week we're going to paint those before we put them on our cake, okay? So, let's see. This one is the one that I think is, I don't know, a baguette or some kind of large donut. And then there's, this is my favorite, the little donut with icing. Can you see the little icing on there? It's got little grooves for where the icing goes. Is that fun? Yeah, so I'm not sad about not using the glue because, yeah, this stuff is like concrete once it's dry. It will not be going anywhere. So it's probably actually better than the glue, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so let's see. Now we got to remove our cupcake mold. Oh, okay, this is my favorite one out of the whole set. Look at the little cupcake. How cute is that little cupcake? Oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead. And I'm going to paint these with the Impasto paints next week to make them look kind of realistic. And that's going to be exciting. You can also paint them, you know, in browns to make them look like chocolate. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the carousel horse, even though I don't believe we're going to be using it. I want you to see it because it's super cute. Okay, so here's our little carousel horse. Isn't that so cute? I so want to do several of these and do like a carousel themed jewelry box and do my carousel horses around the jewelry box, or maybe even a box like this. I don't want them on this cake, but they would fit perfectly if I was doing a carousel themed cake. Wouldn't that fit perfectly? Yes. Maybe I'll have to get another one of these same size containers and do a carousel cake. This project is awesome as a gift because it's very birthday kind of themed, but at the same time, it doesn't go bad. So you can mail it. You know, you can, when you forget someone's birthday and you have to give them a belated present, it won't be spoiled. All right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next, and then I'm going to hop off here because we're going to let this dry. So you saw the molds. Next, we're going to do some decorative icing around. So we're going to pipe some icing around the bottom and around the base of each layer. So right around there, we're going to pipe some icing. And then I'm going to hop off here and we'll let that dry and we'll finish her up next week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Redesign with Prima stencil fiber paste, 3D stencil fiber paste. Actually, you know what? I just have a little bit left, so I'm just going to stir it right on in here. I'm going to add some paint. Okay, so I want to do pink icing that I'm going to pipe around my my cake. So I've got this Impasto Paint from Prima in Boudoir Pink. Okay, Boudoir Pink. Okay, I've got my, I just got a piping bag and some tips. You can get that at the craft store in the craft section. I'm going to add some of the pink paint to my 3D stencil fiber paste, and we'll see. We'll just give it a good squeeze in there and then see how it colors it. If I need to add more, I can. And I think, to be honest, I'm going to add a little bit of water because the paint's pretty thick. If you're using a different kind of paint that's thinner, it will thin out your fiber paste a little bit more. But this is pretty thick paint, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of water. Let me grab my water bottle somewhere. somewhere. Oh, there it is. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to my fiber paste, thin it out. Not too much, just a little bit. All right, stir it up real good. And I think the color looks pretty good. I don't know if I need to add more paint necessarily, so we're just going to give it a good mix so it's nice and consistent. Do a little bit more water. And see how I'm just stirring it just like I would color regular icing. Make sure you get it nice and mixed up, whatever color you want. I like pink icing. I think it looks so very sweet and tasty. All right, so now I'm going to get my piping bag, okay? And another thing I learned from my mother, because I don't cook, is how to pipe icing. Still don't do it as good as she does, but you know, whatever. So here's what you do. You take the icing bag and you cut, see the little triangle tip right there? This is the icing bag, triangle tip right there. You just want to cut a little bit off with some scissors. Don't cut too much off or your tip won't stay. So just cut a little bit off of the tip. Just a tip. Just a tip. And then we're going to pick our icing. We're going to pick this one because I think it'll make a nice big fat fluffy icing shape. I don't even know the technical term for cake stuff, so whatever. Don't judge me. All right, so then you put your tip in your bag, just like that. See how you don't want to cut off too much of the tip, okay? And then we take our icing slash, our fake icing slash 3D stencil fiber paste paint mixture. Okay, oh, here's another thing I learned from my mom, how to fill it the best. Because, you know, if you just start filling like that, it's going to get all stuck up on the sides. You want to roll the bag down like that, okay? Put it around your hand and roll it down. Right, just like so. And then you start putting the icing in and you just push it down in there. And that's how you get it from sticking all over the sides of the bag and wasting it all. All right, See, I learned some things from my mama. She would be very proud, I'm sure. Or she'd be horrified because I'm totally butchering making a cake. But anyways, oh, we got a little bit more. Let's put a little bit more. Waste not, want not, right? In case you missed it earlier when I was icing the cake and going over the icing, if you don't have 3D stencil fiber paste handy or you're in a pinch, you can use plaster, drywall speckle, or mud. You could probably even use sea spray from Dixie Mud. So you can use caulking. All right, so now we got it in our bag and we're just going to squeeze it down. Squeeze it down into the tip and then just turn the top so that it doesn't squeeze out our top, you know, very minimally. And wow, look, it looks like we're going to ice a real cake, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top, which is this guy, okay? And I'm just going to do little dollops all around the top. Squeeze. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't even with this. I'm getting so hungry right now, it's not even funny. You guys look. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look like a real cake. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Are you freaking kidding me? This is so cool. Okay, so now we're going to go around. I might have to mix up some more 3D stencil fiber paste later to finish out the rest because I didn't get quite enough here. But so now we're going to go around the base of this layer and do the same thing. Just making little kind of like rosette, or not rosettes, little stars, I guess you could call them. Just little dollops. Ah. Made a boo-boo. Okay. I think we got just enough to finish out this layer, and then I'll have to mix up some more, but I'm going to show you this and then hop off here and to mix up some more because you've already saw the process. So you're good. You got it. You got it etched into the old noggin. So that's the top layer of our cake. Here's our bottom layer and the cake plate. I'm gonna mix up some more pink, and I'm gonna do the same thing we just did around the bottom of this layer, and then I'm gonna let it dry overnight. Oh wait, one more thing before I go. One more thing I almost forgot, and this is gonna be really fun. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, where does she find these things? We forgot the sprinkles, so we gotta add our sprinkles. Okay, so again, if you missed it earlier, these are not real sprinkles. These are confetti type. I got them in the glitter section at the craft store. So they're polyester, plasticky. Oh my gosh, sprinkles. That's what I was trying to say. So they're not real. Don't use real ones, okay, please? And we're just going to sprinkle them on like we would a real cake. Okay, that might be a little much, but. Okay, so there's our sprinkles on our cake. I'm going to go around this edge as well. And the reason why I'm doing it now is because I want them to dry. I want it to dry on the icing as much as it can. You might have a few scragglers that will not stick and fall off, but there you go. Just blow the excess ones off. So there's that, and I will do the same thing around this guy with the sprinkles and the icing. So that's the beginnings of our cake, our 0-calorie, fat-free, good for you, diet-friendly, figure watching, health-conscious storage box cake. So I hope that you all have a wonderful week, what's left of it. And if you want to see the rest of the cake baking process, I'm going to finish it up next Thursday at noon right here in Redesign with Prima, the Facebook group. So you all have a good afternoon, and I'll see you later. Bye.